It's Corona time. COVID-19, COVID-19, COVID-19,
COVID-19, yes.
COVID-19, COVID-19. Coronavirus.
Vaccine, number one way.
You know, by the grace of God, we have a very short COVID segment.
Oh, thank you.
We've considered cutting it all together, but I think there are things happening that we still need to keep up on, as well as, not let them win as far as the distraction goes.
And the narrative, sure.
Lots of other news, lots of other things.
They would like us to stop talking about COVID.
They would love nothing more than for us to stop talking about COVID, but for today's show, I really didn't have a lot, but I do have this, again, from the Wall Street Journal. I was on a Wall Street Journal
WSJ.
Kit. Yes, and this is funny because usually they have a paywall, but for some reason they didn't paywall this article.
Oh, they want people to read it.
Yeah. Exactly. Yes, in the mainstream media analysis and deconstruction of this, they want people to see this. So let's see what it says. U.S. travel mask mandate extended by 1 month to April 18th.
Boo.
Did you even know that the travel mask mandate was going to end, or there was even a possibility of it to end?
I mean, yeah, I kind of knew they were ending.
I had no reason to think that was going to end.
I mean, I think I just assumed because everything else was ending that, travel obviously would end.
Perhaps.
And plus, especially where I'm at, like in the stores and stuff, people don't have masks on anymore.
Oh, yeah.
So it's kind of like,
here.
Yeah, it feels like it's done,
in the context of the control mechanism, after 9/11, we never got rid of the security at airports.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a whole there's 22-year-olds.
That's so crazy.
Alive today, Gonz. 22-year-olds who have never flown on a plane that didn't have.
They didn't have to get body scanned with the Illuminati symbol over your head.
Get shot through with quantum particles. It never used to be like this. But yes, there are now 22-year-olds who have never gone on a plane without the security we experience now. And because of that, the airplane thing, I was expecting if there's any place for them to exercise the muzzling and at least a token reminder of what we all survived together or whatever. That this would be it. But let's read this. Travelers in the U.S. will have to continue wearing masks on airplanes, buses, and other forms of transit through April 18th under a federal mandate that the Biden administration is extending. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention and Transportation Security Administration said Thursday. The TSA's directive requiring masks on public transit was set to expire after March 18th, but it will remain in effect for another month at the CDC's recommendation, a move industry officials had widely expected. During that time, the CDC will work to revise its framework around when masks should be required on forms of transportation, basing its assessment on COVID-19 case levels, new variant risks, and other data, the agency said. So the cutoff time was coming up, and it was coming up quick. And they said, no, extend it 1 month. It's like, okay, all right, 1 month. Are you sure? Yes. Why? Well, we totally forgot about it and should have figured out our plan beforehand. But just give us a month to think about it. Okay. All right. You got a month. Go figure it out. It's like you had years to think about this and you just let it run up and then extend it by 1 month to hold some extra meetings. Cool government we have. U.S. travelers and commuters have been required to wear masks covering their mouths and noses on nearly all forms of public transportation and inside transportation hubs for over a year. That mandate has been extended twice before. The latest extension comes as COVID-19 case rates have declined and people have been allowed to forego masks in many other public settings. All 50 states have dropped indoor mask mandates or announced plans to do so, and the CDC has eased its masking guidance for communities. Airline officials and employees have had difficulty enforcing the mask requirements. The TSA last year doubled the potential civil penalties for people who refuse to comply with the requirements. Repeat offenders can face fines up to $3,000.
I just remembered something from my root canal.
Okay.
Between looking in my mouth, the doctor and the nurse wanted me to put my mask on. They handed me. I didn't have one. I didn't walk in with one.
Yeah.
But they handed me one there, and they're like, "Put your mask on, please." And I'm like, "You're about to pry my mouth open and hold it there for an hour and work on it. What in the world is a mask going to do for me
is
or for you?"
Yeah. What?
Yeah, it was very
crazy.
strange.
I mean, that is just pure virtue signaling.
It was unbelievable. I was like, "What? Okay."
Yeah, that is ridiculous.
But anyway, sorry.
That's funny. I also got a root canal during the pandemic.
Oh yeah.
This was early on, but I didn't have to wear a mask. The Federal Aviation The Federal Aviation Administration has that is so strange. Okay, we're talking about masks. Yeah. That's why you thought of it.
That's why I brought it up.
The Federal Aviation Administration has logged a surge in reports of bad passenger behavior. I'm a bad passenger.
This is all part of the social credit system. Guaranteed. It's going to be part of it.
Yeah. With many incidents related to people refusing to wear their masks. Nearly 2/3 of more than 800 reports of unruly passengers this year have been related to masks, the FAA said. And this is a good example of both the sort of social credit system, but also the social control, and also creating laws that create criminals. Because if 2/3 of your unruly passengers are just passengers who didn't want to wear a mask or were bad at wearing a mask,
criminalize that behavior.
Yeah, that means you made a law that increased your criminals by 2/3.
They weren't criminals before. They were just unruly. Now they are criminals under the new rule of the law.
I do think even calling them unruly is hilarious. I mean, we've all seen the videos of people losing it because of the mask thing, but you got to imagine, you got to know that that's like a minority. And so the majority of these people are now unruly passengers because they didn't wear a mask good.
Or their nose is like hanging over the mask. Yeah. So now he's a criminal.
Mm-hmm. In a letter sent, and because it's on an airline, they're probably on some list or something, some no-fly list.
Yeah.
In a letter sent late last month to Jeffrey Zients, the White House coronavirus response coordinator, travel industry groups asked the administration to lift the mask mandate by March 18th or provide a clear roadmap for doing so within 90 days. Which is hilarious because they did not lift it, and they obviously did not have a clear roadmap. So the Jeffrey Zients just ignored the letter and did neither of the things they requested, didn't lift it, and didn't give a roadmap.
This is where our tax dollars go?
Yeah. U.S. airline. I mean, it's got to be a cush gig for Jeffrey Zients right now. He's like, oh, we're done. We're finished with it. Okay. Well, I'll just be in my office if you guys need me. I'll just be in there. He's just in there playing with a Rubik's Cube all day. U.S. airlines said they would comply with the extended mandate and continue enforcing it, but they urged the government to identify a path forward, eliminating the requirement and other COVID-era policies like testing rules for international travel, according to a statement Thursday from Airlines for America, a trade group. And I thought this was just interesting that a trade group is like urging to get rid of the mask mandate on planes, because I don't believe that it necessarily increased costs or like is a hindrance to business at all. I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm having a hard time finding a reason why it would be good for business to get rid of the mask mandates. So I really think that this is just an ideological ask from Airlines for America. I think they're just like, we're like everybody else is open. Group. Yeah, everybody else is open. We're the last group who's like being asked to be the mask police. Can you please stop making us do this?
Hold on. Let me consult Batman.
If you're working alone, wear a mask. The mask's not for you. It's to protect the people you care about.
And I think it says something, again, kind of back to the 9/11 comparison. I think it says something that even the masks may not hold up in the long term. I'm still skeptical. I think that they can pull the trigger at any moment and put people through a lot of stuff again. But the TSA thing, a whole government agency, law enforcement agency was created after 9/11. And I'm surprised we don't have the mask police yet. I mean, the official government agency. But it does feel good even reading this, like, oh my gosh, there might be a moment when I can go on a plane without having a mask. Now, there are still vaccine mandates on certain international flights, I believe. But if you're an American citizen, you can still fly home without a vaccine. But anywho, so there you go. There's just a little bit of updates on where we're at with